You asked a lot of questions on my Instagram and here on YouTube, so let's address them. I divided them into two categories, French and personal questions. I'm going to start with French questions and I will answer the personal ones after. I did not include lesson requests, but I took notes of them. So let's go. The first one was the most common one, basically how to start learning French, easy method, step by step, etc. For this one, it's very simple. You grab my self-study guide, it's free, you follow the lesson, one lesson a day. On the side, you work on your speaking, listening, reading, with things you like. It's obvious, but don't try to watch the news in French if it's not something that you would do in your native language. You know what I mean? Do what you like in French. Question number 2, so things to read, articles. For articles, you can go to my second YouTube channel, French Chit Chat with Dylan. I publish a new French story article every Friday. If you just want to read them, they're also on my website. For stories, I have a great little book. It's right here. And the second volume is coming out in September. You can see the first chapter on my website. And in my free self-study guide that I also talk about, there's also a couple of recommendations for websites. So you can find also that there. So A2, best tips you can say for those looking for French content on the internet. Once again, try to find things that you like. It doesn't matter if it's books, a YouTube channel, movies, just something you like. Basically tap what you like, French, and you will find tons of results. Best apps to learn French. I did a video on this, I'm going to link it in the description box. How many years or months to be a B1 in French? How long to be A2? This is all relative. How long to be at a certain level is impossible to guess. I know people who are stuck at A1 for years and others who became fluent in less than a year. How can you progress in French if you're stuck in a rut? I think you're hitting a plateau. Depending on your level, this is very common. It's a very common thing. The simplest way is to keep practicing every day, even if it's doing a lesson on an app like Duolingo or something like that. I know it can be frustrating, but if you stop, you're going to forget a lot. Just keep your brain going. And I just want to say that this is very common because it happens to everyone. When you start learning, when you learn the basic, so if you get to the A1, A2 level, the progress is very fast, very, very fast. Once you get to the B2, B1, it gets a little bit more tricky. Best tip or advice for preparing for the Dev A2? Steve, you're doing A2, that's amazing. Lots of listening, writing, and speaking. Speaking might be the hardest because it's kind of on the spot, but yeah, lot and lot of listening, writing, and speaking. Best advice on how to improve speaking in French, like trying to have a conversation in French. Brian, for this one, I'm not sure if you're looking for a conversation partner or just advice. For advice, make shorter sentences rather than long ones. Talk to yourself in French out loud, even though you will look ridiculous. And finally, don't pay attention to mistakes. Only practice will overcome them. I'm having a terrible time learning French conjugation. Any tips on keeping them straight? French conjugation can be tricky. Focus on a couple of tenses for now, and the rest will come with time and practice. Also, study verb conjugation together. Venir, tenir, same conjugation. Prendre is the same as comprendre, etc. Lots of verbs are conjugated the same way. Take advantage of that. Hi Dylan, may I ask if there are many different regional accents in France? Yes. Lots and lots of accents, yes. The north is harsher, and the south is more singing. Paris is kind of like in the middle. Is there an easy way to identify, remember an item's gender, or is it completely random? It kind of is completely random, but between 80 and 90% of French nouns ending with e are feminine. That being said, I'm working on something that will make it a little bit easier for you. It should be ready very soon, actually. Now, personal questions. The first one, hi, my exam went really well. That's amazing, congratulations. Thank you very much. Here's my question. What are your biggest fears about teaching? Do you ever teach in schools? I don't have a lot of fears about teaching, especially now that I'm home all the time. I only teach on the internet. I used to teach in school and I was afraid at that time of children having complete meltdown. To be honest, parents push their kids so much, but it never happened, thankfully. Hi Diane, I really like your videos and courses. They're helping me a lot to learn French. Nice. When did you move to Canada and what are your future plans? Well, this one is complicated. Hope you're ready. I moved to Canada officially in 2019. I say officially because that's when I got my permanent residence. I was here before in 2015 with a tourist visa for 6 months. That's when I met my husband. Went back home for 3 months. Came back to Canada with a working visa for 1 year. Then I moved to New Zealand. Came back to Canada to get married to my gorgeous husband. Then we lived a year in Luxembourg. Came back to Canada in 2019 and we have been here since. My future plans are coming in a couple of weeks. We are getting the keys of our new house at the end of the month on the other side of the country. So when you see this, I will be getting ready to drive for 14 days across Canada with so Douglas, my husband, and Biffy, our dog. I cannot wait. If you want to follow our little adventure, you can check my personal YouTube channel. I will be posting short videos there. And I will also be probably posting on my story on Instagram quite a lot. I don't know how much I will be able to post because we'll be quite busy, but I will try to post every couple of days, hopefully. Dylan, I'm impressed with your energy and enthusiasm for teaching us French. Always awesome. Oh, that's so nice. It's so nice. Don't you ever get tired? Seem very motivated. What motivates you? And what do you do to stay motivated for so long? Honestly, that's hard. I'm tired all the time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired all the time. That's a mix of work and the moving happening and everything. It's just a lot. What motivates me are all the people who want to learn French and can't afford it. That's always been the reason I have put so much work online, and it will always be. So yeah. If you could instantly learn a language, any language in the world, which one would it be? Thanks for listening. Treat the best teacher. Oh, you're so nice. I will say Swedish because I believe that's where my family is from, but Spanish would be very cool too. Next. Do you prefer living in Canada or in France? Why? I read in English because some of you don't know yet a lot of French. Like best book, City of Your Dream. Sorry for asking this question. It's okay. I have no preference between here or anywhere else really. Home is where you make it, so it doesn't really matter to me where my husband is, my dog is where my home is. Best book this year was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. If you know a similar book, please let me know in the comment section because I've been trying to find something similar. I haven't been able to, so please let me know. My dream city is Whistler here in Canada, but more in the countryside. I'm not a city person. I just can't afford to live there because it's $20 million for a house, so not gonna happen. How do you feel about us, your followers, students? I feel extremely grateful. I would not be able to do what I do without all your support, and I mean any type of support, like a comment, a like, watching my videos, like someone purchasing my book, leaving me a review. I'm extremely grateful. And I don't know if you noticed, but we're about to reach, if it's moving, we're about to reach 100,000 subscribers, and it's absolutely crazy. So the funny fact is that I come from a small village. I believe my village is like around 2,000 people. So the fact that we're going to be 100,000 subscribers is wild because it's 50 times the amount of people that in my village where I grew up. Crazy. What are the good and bad side of living abroad? Do you see yourself going back to live in Europe someday, and why? The good side of living abroad is that there's always something to discover. The bad side is that there will always be something challenging or that you don't understand. When I go home, knowing exactly how everything works is very relaxing for my mind. I might go back in Europe one day, probably. I don't know, we've been looking at properties in the countryside, in France, in Italy, in Spain, in Ireland. Been looking all over the place. We're not fixed on anything, really. How much time did you take to learn a new language and feel confident? It took me a lot of years. Many years. I don't have a lot of confidence in myself, so learning a new language when you're not very confident is always a little bit of a struggle. Confident. I feel confident now. It took me a long time. It definitely took me a long time. But sometimes I'm still not confident, especially when I read my TikTok comments. TikTok, do better, you know? But yeah, it takes a lot of time, really. At the end of the day, if the person criticizes your English or your French or anything, that's not the type of person you want to talk to. The neighbors are making a lot of noises, but I'm sorry, I have to keep going, otherwise I will never be done. It's more of a cultural question, but what do you think about parenting in France? Is better than the US? I believe it is. In Europe, in general, parents and children just go through life together, while in North America, there's this culture of quality time and family time, but that's just my opinion. I don't have children, so it's hard to tell. Favorite city in France? I would say Marseille, but I'm not a city person once again. Recent thing you discovered and ended up loving it. It can be anything. Honestly, I didn't discover much lately, but I rediscovered video games. I'm currently playing Zelda and I'm totally obsessed. It really helps me take my mind off work, and I can't wait to get the new one once I'm done with this one. Comment s'appelle la tante au chapitre 2? What's the name of the end in chapter 2? That's from my book. The end that gets drunk and dance in the living room. Her name is Jill. Scone or donuts? Donuts every day, all day. Do you consider yourself famous? This one made me laugh. No, absolutely not. I think someone recognized me once here at the mall, actually close to my house, and they commented on my video later that they saw me there. And it was weird, but like funny weird, because I'm like, oh my god, what was I doing? What was I even looking at? No idea. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it was just a funny moment. But no, I do not consider myself famous at all, at all. That's it, everyone. I have, I think, 10 videos to film after this one to be good for 2 months, so I don't have to film when we're on the road or as soon as we get to a new home. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to keep going with filming to film all the other ones, and I will see you next Wednesday for a new lesson, and next Friday, so this Friday, for Slow French Story. Ok, à mercredi prochain.